ended up being diagnosed with depression after I left school, and I was so lost. I was really, really lost.
Hey Lucy!
Hi!
This didn't take long at all to set up.
No, it was all good.
Thank you for coming today, and I'd love to just start this by asking what the hardest thing you've had to deal with in your life has been, and how you overcame that.
The hardest thing to overcome in my life. To be honest, the hardest thing for me was in high school. I had a very close-knit, amazing group of friends who were the most sensational, loving, caring people. And I loved them all dearly, and they loved me. And in my last school year, my last year in high school, I made a mistake, and I ended up getting into a sort of intimate relationship with my best friend at the time, but he had a girlfriend, and they had been together for a very long time, and the girl found out and was not at all happy about it, understandably. But as a result, I ended up completely losing that entire friend group, which was incredibly difficult because I suffer from social phobia and social anxiety. So basically in my last year of school, every single phobia that I've ever had about, socializing and social anxiety came true within a day. And it was the most difficult time in my life, because I went from somebody who had everything to seemingly feeling like I had nothing. Yeah, it wasn't easy, and it may sound like not a big deal, but for me it really was. It was a very, very, very difficult time. I spent a long time trying to find a group that I fit in with, and I always had this weird thing where I was just like, there's something wrong with me because I don't know how to talk to any of these people. There's something that's like, I've done something wrong, or, these people don't like me, so there must be something wrong with me. And, but then I found this group who were filled with a whole bunch of eclectic, weird, like, abnormal people like me, and we all became very close friends very quickly. But again, things changed in my last year, and I went from having an incredible support system to nothing, and I didn't know how to cope with that. So again, it just completely reaffirmed the whole I'm not good enough. And I will never be good enough. And people won't ever like me because I did this. People won't like me because I am this way. People won't like me because etc, etc, etc.
It just confirmed all the fears and all the doubts in the mind, Yeah. Did you have to seek out like counselling and things to deal with those things?
Yeah. Most definitely. There was a time, and this was fairly recently, where, I have gone and, sought therapy now. And it's amazing. The woman who's, looking after me and helping me through all this is incredible. But she told me that, I've suffered from, social anxiety since I was little. And it was crazy because, I look back at, when I was bullied and all that kind of thing, and I'd never really been able to place any sort of name on the way that I'd felt. Like, I just remember feeling very confused and feeling like I was abnormal, but I'd never considered myself to be, you know, socially anxious from that young. I thought that all happened after I lost all my friends in school. But no, like, I've had it for years. And that was so crazy, because I was just like, holy shit, like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It all makes sense now, and, you know, I don't feel like I'm such a crazy person. I ended up being diagnosed with depression after I left school, and I was so lost. I was really, really lost. It was really hard, and I liked art and I was really good at it, and so I was like, okay, well, you know, the only feasible option for me is to leave school and pursue an art career. And so I left school and I went and pursued an art, like, I went and applied to 3 universities to do an art design degree and didn't get into any of them. And so, of course, I had this moment where I was like, all my friends are successful and they're all going off to uni, or they're doing OEs, or they all have jobs already, and I'm nothing. I'm no one. I don't have any friends. I don't have anywhere to go. I'm still living at home. I can't get into uni. I have no value, no purpose. And I just remember I would spend days sitting at home, sleeping, not doing anything. I'd probably spend pretty much a vast majority of my day, like, waking up, eating something, falling asleep, waking up, eating something, falling asleep. It wasn't until my parents started, like, panicking because I wasn't doing anything and I had absolutely zero motivation for anything, that they were like, we need to get you to do something. And I liked putting makeup on occasionally, so my parents were like, why don't you try to do that? Like, you seem to like it, why don't you have a go? So I went and applied to a makeup school, and I did that for 6 months. And I had a great time. I loved it, and it was so much fun, and, you know, I still do makeup now, and it's a lot of fun, and it is something that I'm quite passionate about. But I remember a lot of it also hindered on the fact that I was struggling to get along with people in my class. Again, social anxiety was preventing me from being able to interact correctly with people. And so, again, I didn't do anything. I was just like, great, well, I've finished, now what? And it wasn't until I watched my dad on this TV series, and he did a TV series about animals called Primeval. I'm pretty sure it was called Primeval? Primeval, yeah. And it was really cool, and I was like, you know what, I did acting in high school, and I liked it, but I didn't think I was that good. But I was like, I like it, I'm going to give it a go. So I went and got myself an agent, and got a couple of commercials, and then I got an audition for Short on the Street. And I'd auditioned as a kid, because my parents had put me forward for a couple of things when I was younger, so that I could, you know, put money in my bank. But I'd never got anything for Short on the Street before. And so I remember I got the audition, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll give it a go. I'll give it like a really good go, and we'll just see how it all plays out. And I was like, cool, okay, sweet. So I went to the audition, and I remember I came out afterwards and I was like, I fucked that up so bad. Oh shit. And I was really embarrassed. I remember I came out of it and I was like, fuck. Like, I was nearly in tears because I was just like, I fucked it up so bad. Like, there's no way I'll ever get it. And then I got a call a couple of weeks later, and they were like, hey, we want you to come in for a callback with 3 other girls, so if you can make this date, that'd be great. So I was like, oh, fuck, cool. So I went back and I did a second audition, and I remember I came out of it and I was like, you know what, I feel pretty good about that, you know, win or lose. I think I did a pretty okay job, but we'll see. And then I found out over Christmas that I landed the role, and I was so completely overwhelmed and excited. I remember I'd just flown into Christchurch to see my family, and I got the phone call just after I got to my nan's house. And I remember I was like crying and like sitting on the floor like a blubbering mess, because I was just like, holy shit, like, you know, something's actually been successful in my life. Yeah. And I've actually done something right for once. And I remember just being completely overwhelmed. And then I started on Shortland Street and did it for 4 years. Finished in April this year. And it was incredibly life-changing working in that building. It taught me a lot of life skills about, you know, people, and it taught me about dedication, and, you know, it's like you can't be slack in that job. You cannot be slack. So, you know, it taught me about motivation and all that kind of thing, and yeah, and it was amazing, and I loved it. But then, of course, once I finished, it kind of dawned on me again that I was like, oh shit, now I have to do this again, now I have to go and find work again. And it was just that moment where I was like, oh fuck, I don't know if I can do this again. I don't know if I'm going to be capable of finding another job. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, you know, ever work again. I don't know if I'll ever be able to interact with people as freely as I did in that job. And of course, you know, the thing about Shortland Street was that although it was amazing, it completely prolonged my, you know, my depression. And, you know, it was a coping mechanism because I had something to do every day. But then, of course, once you leave, you have that thing where you're like, shit, and you have all this time and you don't know what to do with it.
All of a sudden that distraction's gone. You're like, yeah. Now what?
Yeah, exactly. And so I got depressed again, and it just got worse and worse, and I didn't want to, you know, interact with anybody, and I made a few friendships which weren't great for me and really fucked with me, like, a lot. And so a couple of months ago, I actually was incredibly suicidal, and it got to the point where I literally had to ring a helpline, because I remember I was about to attempt, and I remember I was sitting in the bath and I was looking through my phone, and I was looking at all these names in my phone book, and I remember just feeling so completely lost, and I was like, I don't know who to talk to. I don't know what to do. I didn't want to call my parents. I didn't want to call my best friend. I didn't want to call anybody. I didn't want to talk to anybody. And I remember there was just this complete moment where I was like, fuck, like, I don't know how to help myself in this scenario. Like, I don't know how to move forward. I don't know how to get better. And I put my phone down, and I remember I cried for so long. I cried and I cried and I cried and I cried. And just as I was about to do it, I got a phone call from my friend, and she said to me, she goes, hey, so-and-so's having a party, you said that you were going to come, are you going to come? And I was like, oh fuck, like I completely forgot. And I remember I was just like I literally had to talk myself out of the tub. I was like, it took me about half an hour, and I was like, just get out, just go, just do it, just go. Like, this is really stupid, just get out of the bath, go talk to people, go interact with people, like, just leave the room. And I remember I called up Youthline or Suicidal, one or the other. And, hello, my name's Paul, how can I help you? And I remember I just like burst into tears, and I was like, I feel so stupid for ringing. Like, I feel like I'm attention seeking, and I don't know why I feel like I'm attention seeking, because I know that I want to die, but it's like, wow, this is morbid. But I was just like, you know, I remember I was like, I want to die, so can you help me?
Please, yeah.
And he was like, of course, you know, where are you right now? What are you doing? And you know, I don't even remember the conversation because I felt numb. And I just remember the words were just coming out of my mouth, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing, and this just all feels so useless, and I don't know who I should talk to. And he was like, okay, well, who are you living with at the moment? And I was like, I'm living with my parents, but my mum's overseas working, and my dad's the only one here at the moment. And he said, talk to your dad. So when I told my dad about it, I remember it took me so long to start talking, because it's this thing where it's like, you feel like such a dickhead when you say, you know, kind of want to die to somebody, where it's like, you know, I kind of want to kill myself, so, you know, because it's that thing as well where it's just like, you don't want to put your shit on other people, you don't want to feel like you're burdening others, you know, you just want to kind of disappear, you want to be invisible. Where it's like, if you feel like if you tell somebody these things, then, you know, they're going to ultimately hate you because you've given them something, and they go, shit, well, I don't know how to deal with this, and then they get angry with you, and it's just this weird cycle, and it's just all in here. It's like, when you're in here, it's like, it's kind of like looking down at your phone. It's like, this is the constant cycle. It's just like going through and again, and you can't see anything that's happening out beyond. That's kind of what depression is like. And I just burst into tears, and my dad was like, holy fuck. Because, you know, he knew that I was depressed, but he didn't know the extent of it, because I just never talked about it ever, you know. And then it's like, if I did talk about it, people would tell me, you know, I was like, you know, I'm socially anxious. People would be like, you're not socially anxious, you're just shy. It's that constant undermining
just wave
thing.
it off, like, oh.
Yeah. It's like, you know what, I'm so incredibly blown away by how my dad handled the situation, and like, fuck, I love my dad. I love my dad so much, and my mum as well. Both of them handled it with such grace. He was like, okay, alright, well, you know, small steps from here, we'll figure out what to do. And, you know, it wasn't like, I guess I was also afraid at the time that, you know, for some reason, I thought somebody was just going to tell me, you know, they were going to be like, yo, you're fine. And then, you know, because it's just like, you get that.
Yeah.
You tell people you're depressed, and they're like, you're not depressed. And it's like, okay.
I'm the one living in here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, the amount of times I told people that I was depressed, I was like, so, you know, I suffer from depression, and people go, no, you don't. It's like, okay, well, what makes you think that I don't? It's just like, well, I mean, like, you're happy, and you do things, and you go to parties and stuff like that, like, and it's like, okay, no.
It's like,
literally, the way that I managed to get myself better and get myself into therapy and onto, you know, antidepressant serotonin was starting off by celebrating me succeeding in small things, which was like, I got up today and I didn't sit in bed all day. Great success. Very proud of myself. Or I got up today, I made myself something to eat today, and I didn't not eat correctly today. Great success. Or it's like, you know, I got up today and I went outside. That's an awesome success. It's just like, you literally need to celebrate and, you know, be proud of yourself for even doing the smallest things at the beginning, and then working yourself up to the bigger things, where it was like, okay, so I went outside today, maybe I could go outside and, I don't know, pet the cat. Maybe I could go outside and do one more activity. Maybe I could do one more thing, but start off small and then work your way to the bigger things. Yeah. And then I ended up going to therapy, which is great, and the woman who has been looking after me, her name's Gwendolyn, and she's fucking phenomenal. I remember, I'm pretty sure I raved about it to everybody as well. You know, people who I know who have been, you know, going through some tough times. I'm like, seriously? if I could recommend anything, like, go to therapy once. And I know there's like a huge stigma around it, but Jesus Christ,
just go.
It's amazing. And then the only thing that I really need to work on now is my social anxiety, which I'm doing, and I'm still learning. I still have days where I'm like, fuck, and I think about not suicide so much anymore, but I definitely have days where I am quite depressed and I struggle, but they are few and far between now. And it's the knowledge that I am taking the steps to getting better that helps. Yeah. And I'm definitely on a path now where I am happier and I'm getting better, and I just I'm so unbelievably thankful for all the people and all the support I've got through friends and family who have pushed me to this point and who have helped me just by saying, hey, it's okay, we still love you even though you feel like you're a bit crazy. We still love you. We think that you're amazing. And as a result, I've been able to get better and seek help. And it's just the other thing where it's just like remembering that you're not alone. That's the biggest thing. Yeah.